All right, guys, 19th of April, and it is sleeting right now. I don't know if you can hear it on the roof. Usually tin roofs, you can really hear when it rains or sleets, but it is sleeting, and it is April the 19th. I have not done anything in the field yet as far as any type of field work. All I did was go pick some rocks and fill in some groundhog holes when we had that 80-degree day. Standing water. We got a lot of rain, which is still pretty good. We're well above average for this time of year for precipitation, so that's all right. Not ready to spray yet, not ready to do anything, and we're probably over a month away before any corn hits the ground, so we're not going to worry about it. Today's video, I want to cover two topics. Two things I want to cover today. One of my videos that I had posted on YouTube had disappeared. There was about 5 that I can't find anymore that I did last year and are gone. So I don't know. I really don't know what happened, and I didn't save the footage. So I did post a video on my 100-gallon fuel transfer tank, and that day it was a pretty long day in the summer. I was baling hay and had a lot of things go wrong that day, including the hose blew out on my transfer tank and sprayed me with diesel fuel and sprayed the back of the 685 with diesel fuel. So this is how I get fuel, and we're changing that. That is changed as of this week, hopefully. I load this tank on the back of my pickup truck, I tie it down, and you can get 100 gallons in there. Usually I don't put 100 gallons in just because it's a little bit too much to handle, and I want to unload it off of my tank. And usually at any given time I don't really need 100 gallons. I try to fill the tractors once they get to half tank. I try to fill them up. So I'll get some fuel. It's not too bad to go get fuel. It's only about 5 minutes away. There's a fuel station, and they sell off-road diesel fuel. So I go up there every so often, and it's such a hassle loading the tank, tying it down, going to get fuel, bring it back, fill the tractors, try to get the tank empty. If all the tractors are full and there's still some in the tank, then I got to try to find buckets to put the extra fuel in so I can get it empty and get it back on this trailer. It's fine, it works, it's very cheap, the tank is paid for, no problems there. I did put a filter kit on it. It's a 12-volt DC pump, it pumps great, it has the auto shut-off nozzle. So it has everything good going for it, except for it's just kind of a hassle and a pain. So what I was doing was looking around for a fuel tank, like a 500-gallon diesel fuel tank, and then I could get fuel delivered here to the farm to make it a little more efficient, make it easier on myself. And when you need fuel, it's there. You don't have to go run for it constantly. It's easier on the at the end of the year when you go to do taxes. You only have 1 or 2 fuel receipts instead of like 10, 12. So I was looking around for a tank and wasn't able to find one. And then one of my neighbors had told me that one of the local fuel companies in the area will give you a tank to use free of charge if you buy fuel from them. So you can't beat that almost, that they'll give you a tank if you get the fuel from them. So I did that. I called them. They said they were going to bring a tank out. I think it's a 550-gallon diesel fuel tank. Now with that arrangement, they give you a manual crank hand pump with a filter. So for what I have down here, I have no electricity in this shop. There's no electrical outlets. There's no power. The power stops at the milk house, basically. Yeah, so the power stops at the milk house. So a hand crank pump isn't going to be the worst thing for now. But being that this is a 12-volt DC pump, I think the only thing I'd have to do to use this is get a longer spout to go down in the tank further. So I'm going to look around for a longer spout. Maybe we can repurpose this pump. Just put a plug in the tank and put the tank away until we need it again. So we'll see. I'm not afraid to hand crank fuel. It's not like I'm a tillage farmer and I burn a tank full a day. So we'll see, but that should be coming. They have a truck with a lift gate, and I want them to back in the door, and I want them to put it right inside the door here. I want it inside on account of getting water in the fuel, just because I don't know, I'm a little bit fussier. So I'll get it inside the door here. It's 550 gallons. I'll try to put a long hose on it. Hopefully they have a long hose. If not, I can recycle this hose. So I'll get it right by the door so I can fuel up and then be on my way. So that's a pretty nice arrangement that I found here locally. So we'll get the tank set up. I'll show you guys once it arrives and we have it all set up, and hopefully we'll get it filled here before spring. So with that being said, I don't have to run around for fuel anymore, and now I can buy it when it's a little bit cheaper instead of having to go buy it whenever, just buy it as needed. So that'll make things more efficient for the farm here. So pretty happy with that arrangement. So I didn't have to buy a tank. Anytime you buy a used tank, you always run the risk of buying something that either leaks or people had outside, it's full of water, or it's full of sludge, or there could be any number of things that go wrong with buying a used tank. I was looking around for that tank that was almost new, and it just didn't happen for me. So this way, if the fuel company brings their tank out and they set it up and I buy the fuel and the tank leaks, I think it's kind of their problem. If the tank is dirty, I guess it's my problem. It does have a filter kit on the pump, so we'll see. We'll see when it gets here. So that's part one of today's video. All right, guys, today I got to take my gate down here. Up there, I don't know if you can see it, we have a down tree across the road up to the hill, and instead of just shoving it into the woods with the loader, my dad burns firewood over at the other farm, so he's going to come over and cut it up and haul it over there. So it makes more sense than to just push it in the woods. Be a nice log for firewood. So the second part of this video I'll get into here in a second. All right, so the topic I have for the second part of this video, I was drone shopping last night, looking for a drone to add to the channel here as far as getting aerial footage of the farm. It was quite a few months ago. I had asked Jake Ziegler about his drone and how it works and if it follows him and all that kind of stuff, and he did a video on it for me, and I'm very thankful for that. And I was putting it off for a little while, so last night I was looking around to see what I could find as far as drones. And then I got to the regulations page, and I wanted to read some of the regulations that our government has with these things. And that's about as far as I got. I didn't finish drone shopping, and I didn't buy one. Apparently, in those regulations to fly a drone, you have to be 5 miles away from any airport and any airport's airspace. So, if I were to get into my vehicle and drive to the airport that is here, it would probably be more than 5 miles. But if you draw a straight line, I have an app on my phone that measures distance in miles, acres, kilometers, any unit of measure you want. You just drop a pin, drag the line, and from the center of my farm here to the end of the runway at the airport, it's only 2.6 miles straight line. So I am well inside the 5 mile regulation for flying a drone within an airport's airspace. I was thinking, well, who's going to see, who's going to know? Maybe I could try it. And then I got thinking, no, the airport that's here has a lot of small single engine planes. There's people going out on sightseeing tours. There's a lot of people just going out for a flight just to enjoy the countryside. And if I'm out in the field and have a drone hovering overhead, I can't hear or see an airplane if I have my drone following me, even if I'm below the flight level 500, I guess, for you airplane guys. Even if I'm only, I don't know, 30, 40 feet off the ground taking video, it's still going to be fairly visible, I think, to any aircraft flying over the farm. And all it's going to take is one pilot to see that and report that, and I'm not going to know it. And I could be in some big trouble with flying a drone within an airport's airspace. So it's not something I'm going to risk. It's not something I'm going to attempt to do. I don't want to get in any kind of trouble. Even if I'd use it and basically get away with it for months or years, there's just that one time that a pilot's going to notice it and radio it in, and I am in trouble big time with the federal government. So not going to happen. So it's a shame. I'd like to get some aerial footage and some drone footage. So what I'm actually planning on doing, and I might wait till all the crops are in and they're growing. The airport does give scenic tours. You can pay to go up in the airplane. And one thing I don't have is any current aerial photography of this farm. I do have an aerial picture from the 60s. So I'm going to see if I can't get a flight maybe over the summer, see if I can't get up in the Cessna. And I used to fly. I used to be in taking private pilot's lessons and have a little bit of understanding about how airplanes work. So probably the Indiana Jones reference. I can fly, but land, no. So, but anyway, I'm going to go up there and see if we can't get a good aerial shot of the farm. Get some good aerial pictures of the farm, and maybe even over at my dad's place, because I'm sure if you're up in an airplane you can see both farms from the airplane depending on your altitude. So I'm going to see if we can't work out a low-level flight and make a couple circles. Maybe I can even record the flight, take some video. It'll be pretty interesting. It's pretty neat. I don't know if they're still doing the scenic tours. I have to check into it. A lot of these flying businesses, especially in the greater Northeast area, a lot of these, even the flight schools, they really have a hard time staying in business the way it seems. It just got too expensive, and that's why I quit with my flying. It was right in that time when gas and fuel were skyrocketing, and you couldn't afford to fly. I think it was getting close to $200 an hour, and that was ridiculous. So I think in today's market with everything, I'm thinking I can get a flight for maybe $120. So to get aerial pictures of two farms, to get video, to get many pictures, it's going to be priceless, I think, for future reference. We'll get a picture blown up. Seems like everybody has an aerial photo of their farm hanging on their wall somewhere, and I don't. So we'll see what we can do. But as far as a drone, as much as I'd love to have it floating overhead while I'm baling hay or mowing hay, I love drone footage. Jake does a great job with his drone footage. I said some of my favorite videos when he was asking about what people like to see. Some of my favorite videos was when he was putting on anhydrous, and that drone was right up overhead, and you could see where the anhydrous went in versus where it didn't yet, and just wonderful, wonderful video to watch. It's real nice to watch. It's easy to watch aerial footage, and it's very satisfying to see it. So anyway, guys, I'll end the video there today. Tomorrow's video, I'm not exactly sure what's going to be happening. It's supposed to be a nicer day. It's cold today, and we're supposed to hit 50, and I don't think we're going to get there. It's very windy and cool, so we'll have to come up with something for tomorrow's video. I still didn't get the sprayer out yet, and I know I said I was going to do it a while ago, and I didn't, because we still have nights down in the low 30s and even the high 20s. So I don't want to take the antifreeze out of it yet, and I can't spray yet anyway. So Dad's going to be here probably in a half hour. We're going to get that tree out of the road up there, so it's not blocking the way for the lime trucks, if the lime trucks ever show up. So still waiting for my nitrogen, still waiting for my lime. So still waiting for the fuel tank. So all right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and stay tuned.